All right, everyone, we're back today, and we are doing something completely different from whatever. We're doing something completely different from what we normally do. I've actually been reached out to by a member of the team from ARCCaptain, and they actually asked if I would do a review on a welder if they sent it to me. Since I already have a MIG welder and a stick welder, I chose to do the TIG welder. Now, I do have some experience TIG welding. It's been several years, but this video is not intended to show you how to TIG weld. More or less the lines, just kind of review this product, demonstrate a few weld beads, see what it's capable of, and go from there. So, what I wanted to start with today is just the unboxing. So here is the foot pedal. For any of you that have TIG welded before, know that it is very, very nice to have the foot pedal option. So ARCCaptain did go ahead and send me the foot pedal to use. The foot pedal allows you to control the voltage of the tungsten or the output of the machine with your foot versus trying to do it with your hand. So pretty rugged design, nothing much really to it, just basically a giant foot pedal. Oops, I'm dropping. And it's got a 5-pin connector that'll go attach into the machine, and we'll be able to control our welder that way. Moving on to the welder itself, we have a few items in the box. There's a carrying strap. We have the torch and cable itself. Inside here we also have some miscellaneous consumables, including the different cups and the different collets, and then the opposite side of the torch, the tail. Two different lengths there, one longer, one stubby. The torch itself has about a 10 to 12 foot lead length, so plenty of length for when you're working on projects, and it just has the various different connectors here. This 5-pin connector is to control the TIG via a little tiny switch on the actual torch itself. But if we have the foot pedal hooked up, we don't have to use that. This here is for your gas, and this here is basically for your power. Get this out of the way here, put that down. This is a hose to hook the gas up to the machine. That's good to have. This here is an adapter, so it goes from 220 down to the 110 outlet. So we have this, and this machine has the capability of running off of 110 or 220. Let's see here. Get a couple of these things out of here so we can get the box out of the way. One more collet. This package here is our ground lead. Once again, twist connector to go into the actual welder, and just a clamp to hook on to ground the project you're working on. This here is a stick electrode, or I should say the stinger for the stick electrode, so you can actually stick weld with this machine as well. So that's a good additional feature that it's got. And here is the welder itself. Now, for comparison, here is the foot pedal. The foot pedal is nearly the same size as the welder. So it's very compact. It's an inverter style welder. Here's all your connections. They're labeled positive, negative. Here's where your gas goes. There's where your control pins would hook into. The display is a digital display. It's got a few buttons here to control the mode, the preferences, and then also a dial here to turn up and down your voltage in which you're, or the voltage or the amperage in which you're welding at. On the back of the machine, you have an on and off power button. You have the connection for the gas, and obviously you have your power supply or your power cable. On the bottom there is a sticker here. It looks like it might be telling us our duty cycles based off of the voltage that you plug it into and the type of welding that you're doing. So that's good information to take a look at. But at this point, I just want to let you guys know, I may have already mentioned it, but ARCCaptain reached out to me. They asked me if I would demonstrate or test out this new piece of equipment since it's new to the market. They sent me the welder and the foot pedal free of charge. But at this point, if you aren't familiar with it, there's a lot more consumables that go hand in hand with the welder. So I'd like to show you some of those. So first things first, inside your torch, here's your torch. You're gonna, once you assemble it, you're gonna have a collet that holds on to what's called a tungsten. And you're also gonna have one of these purple cups. The cups allow the gas to stay localized to the weld you're doing and protect it. The collet clamps down on whatever style tungsten or size tungsten you have. Now, there's various different types tungstens. I went with a purple type, which is a more general all-purpose tungsten. It's newer, and but there's many different colors. There's blue, there's green, there's gray. You could go on all day about different colors and different purposes for them. So tungstens is a consumable you'll definitely have to purchase. And then on top of that, to hook to your gas tank, you're also going to need some type of flow meter. Now this kit was a flow meter and a hose in one, because I was unaware that they actually shipped a hose with it. So guess we'll have an extra hose for another project down the road. And then the last component, well, not the last one, but you also need filler rod. Now with TIG welding, you can fusion weld and kind of just melt the material together, but a lot of times to strengthen and to fill gaps, you use a filler material. Once again, various different types of filler materials that you can use. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing things. And the last component, gas. So usually when it comes to TIG welding, everybody just uses straight 100% argon. Now, I have a welding tank for my MIG welder that's a mixture. It's like 75-25. Depending on the electrode, depending on the material, yes, you could get away with doing that. But basically to cover all your bases on smaller projects where you're not trying to weld 3/4 inch plate or bigger, you're gonna just stick with straight argon, and that's gonna cover you for all your different metals. So I went and bought another tank, got argon in it. So we're gonna get this all set up. We're gonna fire up this machine, just run through it, see some of the settings, see how easy it is to look at, to use. I have not looked at the owner's manual at all. Like, haven't looked at it at all. So if we run into any issues, we'll definitely be referencing this. But for now, I'm just going to run with seeing how easy it is to put it together myself without really looking into any of that. And reason being is 9 times out of 10, I believe the people that are watching this channel, or even people that go out and buy one of these, they're probably not going to refer to that book unless they have an issue. So I'm just going to be like the general public and try it just like they are. So I'll get this stuff kind of set up. We may have to move our operation to get closer to the 220 outlet, and we'll go from there. All right, let's get this thing hooked up. I'm gonna put our torch end in first. Leave that part disconnected. Get this hooked up. I don't want to tighten that up quick. Alright, so the torch side's hooked up. And we're going to want to grab the ground. All right. All right, that's hooked up. We got our gas line. That hooked up back here. Get this into the gas tank. Get this out for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this off of 120 first just to try it out. This way we can still utilize the welding table. So one thing I'll do is bring you a little closer here as we assemble this. So here's the torch end, or the torch we should say, and about all our goodies here. So this, I believe, gets screwed into this side, and this will get screwed into the back side. And then got different cup sizes. We'll just choose one to begin with. Okay. Got that, and then the collets are marked with the different sizes. This is 1/16, 3/32. So this is what we need. Joke's on me, this is supposed to go in before I did that. Now your tungstens, you have to sharpen to a point. There is science behind the angle and everything, but we'll get it tapered. Then we're gonna insert it through the back here. We'll bring it out to a certain distance. We'll put our tail on it, and then the torch should be all set up. All right, all good to go now. All right, so straight out of the package, this lens is actually cracked. I hope the lens is literally just nothing more than keeping the dial from getting damaged. I hope it's not supposed to create a seal, because if it is, then we're not going to be able to do this operation until we get it fixed. Okay. Just gotta tighten this guy up. Just be on the table here is our gas. And a good way to test to make sure the gas is good is just crack it open quick. So, gas looks good. I just got to get the plastic piece out of it. Okay. All right, so we plugged it in, and we're gonna hit the switch on the back, and it's turning on. Let's see if I can get you guys a little closer. Alright, so right now it's set TIG 2T. Let's see what other options we got. TIG 4T, MMA. So there's 3 options there. And then let's see, preferences. We have downslope, post gas, and current. Downslope, I think, is it tapers off as you let off the pedal. Current is obviously current. And post gas is how long the gas runs for after you finish welding. You probably don't need it that high. Maybe like 1 second. And then control mode up here at the top of the screen, remote, panel. We're going to do remote. That's going to allow us to use our foot pedal once we plug it in. And you can see up here in the corner, got 110 volt. So this right now, I would think that we'd be able to dial this number down. Okay. There you go. All right. Control mode's got to be in panel for you to use the panel here. I don't think we need our amperage up that high. We're gonna try to weld a piece of tubing together. We'll start out at, I don't know, maybe 86. We'll try that, see what happens. Like I said, it's been years since I've TIG welded, so we'll see what happens. But overall, interface is really nice. It's really easy to see, very clean, very simple. You know, these buttons do a couple features and nothing crazy, and that's honestly perfect. You don't have to worry about bumping a button and accidentally messing something up or twisting too many dials. And I feel like a design like this is so simplistic. There's not much that can go wrong. So that's good. So I guess at this point, it's time to strike an arc and see what happens. All right, you guys are seeing it first here. I have not attempted anything. I literally just ground the sheet metal so it was clean surface. I've got my torch. I've got my filler wire. My foot pedals on the ground. I got my helmet on my head. And I'm gonna see if I can fuse this piece of tubing to this piece of plate. All right, so I did a tack weld. Didn't turn out bad at all. And I instantly remember how much I love TIG welding. And wow, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. Now, one thing is, with welding is a big, yes, physical thing, but mentally, if you're not mentally ready to weld, or you're having a bad day, you're frustrated, you probably should walk away from it and come back to it another time. So the thing that I found with TIG welding, in my experience, you want to be in a very comfortable position where you're relaxed and you can still breathe as you're welding. And you also want to be in a good mental headspace. If you start to get frustrated, take a breather, walk away for 5 minutes, come back, try it again later. Don't just try to push through, because the welds will show that you're just trying to push through. So anyway, let's try this again. Now, you can tell by like the heat affected zone how well you're doing with your welding. That time I got a little too hot. You can see it's kind of starting to turn gray. Some of these other places where I tack welded it, you can see it's kind of like almost like a rainbow color or like a bluish color. That's better or closer to what we're looking for. All right, so I'm going to try just like a lap joint here. Try that out. I just hooked my ground to this tube that we welded on there. Cleaned up these 2 pieces of plate. And honestly here, I probably won't even need to use filler rod. I just mainly need to get myself in a good position. And All right, so it took me a little bit to get started there. I was just kind of melting through the top sheet. But then as I got going, it gets easier. I can feel that I'm pretty shaky. I don't really have anything to prop my arm on. And, well, regardless, this video is not about justifying how my welds look. The video is more about the welder. So, to be 100% honest with you, if you're trying to get into this hobby of TIG welding, or even if you've TIG welded in the past and it's been a while since you've done it and you needed something for small projects around the property, the garage, the house, ARCCaptain's the way to go. I mean, this machine you can literally pick up and carry with you. I mean, it's smaller than a backpack. You could literally fit the welder inside of a backpack, and all you'd have to worry about is taking the gas tank with you. The components, easy to use. I highly recommend the foot pedal, but to some people they might like this finger trigger. I've personally never used this finger trigger before, so I can't really comment on that. But everything I'm testing so far, if you blindfolded me and just handed me a TIG torch, I wouldn't know if this is an ARCCaptain, if it's a Miller, if it's a Lincoln, if it's some other brand. Because to me, it's doing the same exact thing as any of those would do for literally a fraction of the price. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little picture here, but the, like I said, they're not the best welds. I haven't TIG welded in a long time, and you can see I was putting a little too much heat in there. I eased up on the heat when we got out here, which you can see is a different color. But once again, like I said, overall, great operating machine. Really nice feature, you know, we dialed that down, and then when you hook up the foot pedal, that allows you to go full throttle to that number that you already dialed it down to. And you don't have to worry about, you know, accidentally taking it all the way to 140 and just blowing through your metal. So even here, I could dial it down from 80 to, I don't know, or 86 down to 65, 70, somewhere in there. And then I could just probably run full pedal and not have to worry about putting too much heat into this. All right, so I've been doing a little bit more practice here, and we can already see, I wish this camera would actually focus like I'd want it to, but we can already see improvements just in welding a little bit compared to when we started. Everything's looking pretty nice. Like I said, I know that's a little blurry, but like I said, overall, really happy with this machine. This is going to be a huge improvement to our shop here, and it's going to allow me to do a lot of projects. I do have a project for it in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. And but I just wanted to get this video out, show you guys the new tool that we have access to. And just to recap again, this is the ARCCaptain Tig 200. It also allows you to stick weld, and like I said, you can control it here, and then you can set it to remote and control it with the foot pedal. So overall, really pleased. Very petite in size. You can literally just pick this thing up and go. And really all you have to worry about is having a gas tank. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and check the description. There'll be a link to where you can get one of these welders yourself. They also offer other products, including MIG welder and plasma cutter. So if all goes well and we continue to like this TIG welder, I may see what I can do about getting a plasma cutter, and then we'll pretty much be completing our tooling here at the shop. I mean, we'll have a TIG welder, a stick welder, a MIG welder. We got the oxyacetylene torches, so now we just pretty much need a plasma cutter, and we'll be covered on all bases there. So, all right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you here again on the next video.